Hey everybody, Hotashi here again. What's going on? The same old, What's up, UT gang? I've got another Nagoriyuki versus X character matchup newsflash for you, and today we're going to be talking about Anji. Previously in 1.09, this character didn't matter. He had very poor conversion ability, terrible defense, horrible buttons, and really generally like no game plan in neutral. He couldn't do anything Guilty Gear Strive was asking for. So now, this character has been buffed through the roof. This is a character that matters now, as of 1.10. Imagine that Anji was a DLC character that got added to the game for free, and he's pretty good. So instead of like discussing what changed, which will be a lot, let's just focus on what you need to be concerned about when you fight this character. Because again, before this character, Anji, he really didn't matter at all, especially to a tournament player. So let's get a refresher. Anji is a mid-range powerhouse type character with kind of good range buttons and good conversion ability. On top of that, spin move that lets him go through longer range pokes and find a way in. He also has this amazing 2D, similar to Soul Bad Guy's 2D of yore of all time, just going under anything. His counter hits give him huge damage and wall carry. His close range pressure is also excellent thanks to his close slash. It's relatively safe on block, and he can threaten a grab while at the same time clipping you with a low for standing up in fear. So as Nago, if you want a game plan against this character, you're generally going to want to stay in the mid-range and wait for Anji to make an approach, especially early on in the round. Since he's generally like kind of sluggish and predictable when it comes to his forward approach, you're going to need to be looking for the spin move. Anji's trying to spin through 5S, spin through 5H, and then smack you with a Fujin. That's why I recommend you stick to relatively low recovery moves like 2S and 5K. Then once you land a hit, knock it out of the park with a big conversion and he'll be feeling the pain. So Anji, again, since he's not great at getting in on a very defensively oriented Nagoriyuki who just kind of like holds their ground, doesn't go crazy. So eventually Anji players tend to get frustrated and try an IAD, or they start to spin, and then they kind of like get a little bit predictable. So you can mix it up through zoning and then go for a forward grab into a command grab. You might catch them spinning a lot of the time. And obviously Anji wants to spin through longer range normals, so he wants to wait until you have 1 or 2 levels of blood where you're going to be stuck to a much longer range, right? Or he's going to try and IAD past those big normals. Something really good is that Nago has so many cheap tricks that he can use in this matchup. 5K is pretty amazing. It stuffs a lot of Anji's approaching buttons. It's very safe. Even when Anji spins into you, you can use it and still be safe. It's your main punish button. You can even round start with it and it'll beat out most of Anji's round starts. As we know, 5K is a godlike Nagoriyuki button. So abuse it, use it and abuse it as your privilege. If you have problems with Anji Mitos who really like to spin, Nagoriyuki's new 623H, Shizuriyuki, if you hit Anji's spin with the first hit of 623H and then do the second hit, it'll hit him every time. So, regarding Anji's counter super, that is called Kacho Fugetsu. And it is a frame 1 counter, but it has no grab invincibility at all. Meaning if you meaty grab Anji and he does Kacho Fugetsu right there, then you will hit him for free. It kind of has like a long duration, so if you see it and you bait it successfully, try and give it a little bit of time before you go for your punish, or you'll eat the super. The most important thing about this matchup is that all of Anji's Fujin follow-ups are punishable in some way on block, and also when he does them, and you're going to want to learn common punishes for all of them. And let me give you some of them. So Anji's Nagiha move the low alpha fusion is -7. -7 is exactly the frame data of Nago's 5K, which is 7 frames. Basically, anytime you see Nagiha, you can do 5K, 214H, into an OTG 6H, or you can go for the world. The rising feint throw, you can like jump and JP it. It really doesn't net him great pressure afterwards anyways, so you can block it if you wish. And Rin, the overhead, that is monstrously negative on block. Monstrously. It's a close slash punish. You can go crazy. Now, the hop after fusion, where Anji jumps over normals, you can easily just hit him out of a move or backdash him, because usually, like I would say like 75% of the time, Anji players just love to go for grab. Even more important than that, every single Fujin that Anji does, once you have 50% meter, is punishable on block by Nagoriyuki. The only thing that Anji can do to stop Nago from doing a super after blocking Fujin is an immediate Nagiha, which loses to 5K. So once you have 50% meter, Anji cannot do any Fujin, or he will risk Nago just doing super in response to any of the follow-ups. Some more things you're going to want to look out for. Anji's butterfly, it has a long startup, but it's a slow controlling neutral projectile. You can easily react to it and get an approach going if necessary with your newly buffed 226S, your Gamma Blade move, the clone. Just shoot the clone and follow it up with the dash, and you're in. When Anji's in the air, he has the ability to modify his fall timing with JD, making it kind of like frustrating to try and anti-air him. Like, you ever try and anti-air melee? It's kind of like the same thing. But he always falls straight down, especially off of a double jump. Especially in dispatch, you're going to want to be a little bit more careful when it comes to like mistiming your anti-airs. This is because JS and JH normals in patch 1.10 now give a fat counter hit effect. So Anji gets a massive combo for hitting, for example, a counter hit JS. Be very worried. Anji's air buns are quite good. He has no real ability to convert off of his 2P. So oftentimes, if Anji is matching defensively and he hits you with a couple 2Ps, he's gonna do a 6H to like capitalize on a scramble. If you're paying attention and you backdash, it's gonna be a free 5K punish every time. And what do you get off 5K? 214H, 63H, Fukio forward, you know, anything you want. In summary, Anji, even though he's like much better of his patch, is still a relatively obvious affair. Clip him trying to get in on you, run your pressure, frame trap him the same way as any other character. He has no defensive mechanic besides his one frame super, and you have like a ton of privilege in this matchup. 5K, being able to super any Fujin on block. Just make sure you get some rounds in against this character in case you're playing in tournaments so you don't get caught off guard. By all means, Anji should be horrified of Nago, and Nago is Anji's natural predator. So this character, again, has been added to the game. That's all. Y'all take care. See you on the next matchup explanation.